February the 5th, 2024. Chairman, how would you get the invitation, please?
Father, we thank you for this beautiful day, and we pray, Lord, as we meet tonight to conduct this kind of business, that you would guide and direct us, that we will have guidance and wisdom in the decisions that we make. We pray these things in thy name. Amen.
All right, I have before we get started, though, Commissioners, Dr. Janone, she will not be here tonight. I've been told that Tim Jones is running late, so we'll carry on business. When they get here, they can come on in and join. So I have a motion to approve the agenda. So moved. Have a motion. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed. Have an approval of the minutes from January the 2nd. Have a motion. So moved. Motion by Commissioner Harris, you'll have a second. Second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
I'll abstain, I was not present.
Thank you. That's Chairman, or Commissioner Bergdorf's abstention. Item number 5 is recognition of the public. Joe McLaughlin for volunteer fire. Go ahead, sir.
Joe McLaughlin, 2238 Highway 25, Cottontown. Volunteer fire department received 510 calls for service in January. That's the most calls we've received in January since I started keeping statistics in 2018. Thank you.
All right, next is Kevin Baker. Everyone, I'll give you a chance to get
Where you want?
address.
Where you want?
Wherever you want to go, sir. It's just as much your room to this hour.
Sounds good?
Sure.
Kevin Baker, 1448 Wade Road, Portland, Tennessee. You know, I've done this so many times, it almost seems like you add to this. Can you call me sometime? Anyhow, Health and Emergency Services Committee, the interlocal agreement, I'm very concerned about the language in that proposed interlocal agreement. The phrase litter collection and or other manual labor, it should scare the heck out of y'all. Recently I heard through the grapevine that there was a prisoner loaned to Hendersonville for tornado cleanup, and that person fell off the ladder and got seriously injured. And Hendersonville isn't willing to pick up the responsibility for paying for that, so Sumner County is going to eat that cost, and we're going to eat that cost maybe forever. Who knows if the person goes out on disability or whatever. I mean, that's a huge, huge problem. And before we get into another interlocal agreement, we ought to make sure we leave that out. It's not the responsibility of the citizens of the county to pay for everything that the cities do. We're already paying for all the new schools and all the traffic that brings because those city fathers are hooked on growth crap. So please consider that. Also, the purchase of the 25 kW trailer, generator on a trailer, list price of $45,000, sales price of $29,000. That's a 36% price reduction. That's a pretty good deal, I guess. But I haven't seen any competitive bids. I don't know if you all have. A few minutes of my time and some personal experience tells me that that may not be the best price out there. Certainly, I have personal experience with military surplus generators. You can go out and buy a 25 kW generator with about 7 hours on it that's EMP proof for a lot less money than that, right from the federal government. So I think you should maybe consider that. Also, from my perspective, who's going to make the decision when we get hit with a serious tornado and a bunch of businesses are out or houses are out? You got one generator that's about 200 amps, 25 kW is about 200 amps, 110 volts. You're not going to be able to service many people. Who makes that decision? Would you be better served by multiple smaller units so you could service a bigger area? But I think there's also some liability with that, because when you decide to fix or take care of one person, you're messing with a bunch of other people, and they have potential lawsuits against us. Also, I don't know if we have a full-time electrician on staff, but you don't just wheel one of these units up and start plugging extension cords into it. Okay? There are all kinds of codes and stuff. You've got to have that hooked up properly. It's got to be properly grounded and stuff by an electrician or somebody trained to do that. So just want you to consider that. Also, I didn't see anything about what the annual cost is, the ongoing cost of ownership. And honestly, is it the role of government, I heard this a lot recently, is it the role of government to be providing emergency power to people? I mean, it just makes me wonder. But anyhow, that's all I have to say for now. Thanks, folks.
Sure. Board Baker.
Laura Baker, 424 A.B. Wade Road. My role in this little two-some here is to clean up little facts and details. I think that's the biggest problem that I see with the agenda, or question I have, I would say, with the agenda is a whole lot of items on here. There's just not a lot of background for a citizen to be well informed about what all this stuff is, where it's coming from. As Kevin said, one thing is cost of purchase and, or acquisition, another one is cost of ownership. And I fear that, this commission in its entirety was elected as conservatives, that you're all gonna get caught with a bunch of things that are, look nice on the surface, but later on gonna catch up in the way of a lot of dollars and cents. So, of course, we want our emergency services taken care of. They need the equipment that they need and all that. We just want to have all those questions answered, and hopefully with all these people here, we'll get that done. Thank you.
All right, so that concludes public comment. Report of the chair. So just to clear it up, and then there was some confusion and questions from Budget Committee. January 5th, I think was the correct date. There were several items sent back to this committee, which is why we're carrying 122 pages this month, that was sent back. One of those was the idea that the sheriff wanted to do salary studies for those who weren't involved in the original salary bump. In speaking with Sheriff's Department Administration, they have decided to hold that since the county's going to ask for their budgets to come through later. Anyway, they're just going to process all the budgets in one time. So that way we're not piecemealing the budget now and then having to go back and piecemeal bumps or salary increases for those later. So it'll be just one fell swoop. So just wanted to make sure we had that all out there on the record for any and all people who were concerned. Report of the county mayor.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Chiz second here. Misplaced this piece of paper. But let me go ahead and I'll start with what I got. Couple things. I want to start with the ECC. Just to bring y'all up to speed. We had offered a position to an ECC director out of Florida. He has withdrawn that one. So we have moved on to another one. And we're in a 6-month training process with that one. So we will keep you up to date as we move forward with that new ECC chief. And then I want to talk to you just a minute about our EMTs and paramedics. They can give you a more detailed report here in a minute, but I want to give you a few highlights because we are facing what I believe is going to be a crisis coming real soon with our EMS department. Right now, we're down 5 paramedics and 4 EMTs. We have 4 paramedics and 1 EMT with outstanding job offers who are slated to leave in March. We recently pushed out a job posting that resulted in 1 paramedic and 2 EMTs accepting full-time job offers. They will begin in the middle of February. This gives us a net total of 8 paramedics and 2 EMTs short by the middle of March. Just so you know, it's about a 3-year pipeline to bring EMTs up to a level of paramedic. So let's talk about why. Right now, Robeson County EMS is paying 18% more than Sumner County, working the same amount of hours. Montgomery County is paying 15% more than Sumner County, working the same amount of hours. Cheatham County is paying 10% more, working less hours. Nashville Fire EMS is paying 20% more, working less hours. Wilson County is paying 13% more, working the same hours. Nashville Fire is about to put out an ad for 40 new paramedics EMTs, so that's going to make a difference. It's going to create more problems. As we talk to employees that are leaving, they talk about being able to work for a higher wage and less hours. Some of them are leaving just the career field and stress of the job, long hours. And then some are liking the new work schedules that are by some of the other competing counties that gives them the ability to be home more often. So having said that, we're going to need to address this at some point. If we lose any more, we are now going to be at the point of closing stations. I mean, it's just a fact. It's not a threat. If we don't have people there, we just won't be able to open the station. There was a question, and I'll move on past that, and y'all are welcome to talk to our chief with additional questions. Another question was about trying to, or doing a feasibility, doing a feasibility study for the Goodlettsville station. Right now, if we put a newly staffed ambulance in service, it would cost about $1,075,000. An ambulance around $375,000, then all the equipment. One-time cost would be around $535,000 to acquire all the equipment. The recurring cost is about $540,000 for the staffing. And that's if we can get staffing. We're having difficulty staffing our current stations. So that is where we are with that. And then I want to address one other item. We have some people in the office. I had a very good meeting today with Mr. Herman in White House. And I want to dispel some of the rhetoric that is out there that I thought was inappropriate. And I can go on and say that I think it borderlines unethical and sunshine law. I'm not here to be the judge of that, but what I do want to do is make sure that this committee understands that the county mayor's office talks to cities. And as we go forward with this project, we will talk to the cities. I spent a good amount of time on the phone with Mr. Herman and then drove up to the White House today and spent some time with him and reassured him that as we move forward with this, if we move forward with this, because it is in the early stages still, if we move forward with this, that we will include the city of White House, the city of Portland, the city of Millersville, to ensure that we have seamless communication with fire, police, and EMS, just like we work to have here in Sumner County. It's very important that we do work on those issues, and we work on those issues as we're building the project. We have sat down and we looked at a piece of property that we think will be good for the city of White House. It will address the growth areas. Of course, there's been no decision made on it. If there's any of those decisions, we would run through this body, the full commission, and involve y'all in every step of the process. But for us to bring you information, we have to have information. And so we're going to start the conversation, get those ready, but tell them that I'm putting on the agenda to buy ambulances and put a station in Monday, you better get a letter out by then. I just don't appreciate that. So I'll leave that at that, and we'll move forward. If you have any questions for EMA on the stations and staffing, we want to talk to you about the possibilities of improving the pay in EMS. If we can address that now, we'll be happy to bring you something. If we have to wait until budget year, we're going to be dealing with issues, but we'll wait till the budget year is the will of this body. Thank you.
Go ahead.
So, Mayor, I was wondering about the supply for paramedics.
Pardon me?
The supply for paramedics and EMT. I understand that Ball State has a program to train.
They
Can
do.
you tell us how many people they produce from that program, what the program length is?
I really don't know.
Because I think, I did talked to some instructors there, and they said that they had about a wait, they told me, and I don't want to check this, that they had a wait list of 8 people that want to get into the class. And the class is 21 cities. They said the problem is getting more classes, but they have so many people want to sign up. Do y'all know about this?
Chief Hoss?
So my understanding, Ball State actually brought a full cohort last year because they were unable, they did not have enough applicants.
Wow. So the person I talked to, they said they were an instructor, so maybe they must be missing more.
And so, but I did meet with them on occasion, and part of our staff was on their faculty as well. And they dropped the cohort because there was not enough interest to have the class.
Can we, is there
All right,
any?
so before we go too far down the rabbit trail, all the comments,
You know what, we can-
you're out of order. There we go, let's start there first. All the comments need to come toward the chair. I don't want to go down rabbit holes like we did last month, as well as we've got plenty on the agenda. So
I
if we're
agree.
gonna go through, let's suspend rules and bring everybody in, or there's phone calls that can be had outside of the meetings to get a lot of these questions answered. Ken, Mayor, do you have anything else?
No, sir, Mr.
Very well, let me get to Commissioner Wright, just real quick.
I have a question. May I address
Go ahead.
him? What is the status on the Oak Grove Volunteer Fire Department, the building there? Have we had any updates, anything of that nature?
I've got that saved for general ops, but
Okay.
I brought it all here, so I will look it up real quick if it's okay with the chair. All right, Oak Grove. So we've got the PO for the surveying, soils and surveys have been completed. And so we're going to release the request for qualifications in February. The legal description, as soon as we get the survey back, we're going to get the legal description to Resource Authority. And then I have to go through their committee for, to do a quick claim deed.
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
One is just a comment, but then I have a question also, and I'll direct it towards the chair, but was requesting a statement about the ability to have a cohort enough to form a class. With the amount of fire services in this county, city firemen, EMTs, the amount of people that can graduate up to get paramedics licenses, it's hard to believe that they can't put together enough for a class. With that many people that want or need that certification, that I would like that to be looked in a little further to see if that is a true statement with the controversial back and forth. One person says this, one person says that. I just want that looked into a little more, because if they're graduating people out on a semester basis, then why is there a 3-year pipeline to get a paramedic? That makes no sense at all. The second thing I wanted to ask a question was, I don't understand what you were talking about, Mr. Mayor, about the what the White House city manager, seemed like there was an accusation made that there was some nefarious activity with regards to possible sunshine laws, and I hadn't heard anything of that sort. If you could make clarification on what that was. But then it was based on I had seen the letter come from the White House city manager saying that they didn't need services, and then you said that you had met with them to talk about the potential for places to put it out there, and I wondered which came first. Has he changed his mind on that letter he sent, or was that letter sent after you guys met, or just to let me understand the situation?
That letter was sent before we met.
Okay. And then was clarification gained by you or him after the meeting?
Yes.
He changed
And we
his
spoke,
opinion?
and what we agreed to is have an open dialogue about the process.
Okay.
There's been nothing final, because everything final goes through the legislative bodies. So what we agreed to is have an open conversation and to make sure that we're working together to serve the citizens of the White House and out in the county as well.
Okay. And so were accusations made that you had done something wrong by talking to him?
No.
What was the?
No, I'm within my authority. to
Of
speak
course,
to
I'm
anything.
sure you are, yes, I wouldn't argue
No,
that point at all.
I never said that.
What was the sunshine law potential violation that?
I think that was with the commissioners that met with him prior to that.
Okay. I hadn't heard about that either, so
I think you were on the emails.
I didn't meet with anybody on.
I didn't
on
say
that.
you did.
No, somebody's saying that some sunshine laws were broken, so I just wanted to know who was involved in
I
that.
said that was my opinion.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Or the, go ahead.
I think it's just, I think it's appropriate that we all stop and at least just think about the fact that we're sitting here saying we need to increase salaries because we do not have the people to staff stations. And yet we're talking on the other hand about building 2 or 3 stations. To me, that's very conflicting, and not that I'm opposed to any stations, but we are at least right now adequately covered in the county. So why would we want to have stations built and not able to staff them, or even close some of the stations? I didn't think that one would be one in my neighborhood that would be closed. I wouldn't want that to happen. Let's just think about that and think about where we're going. Now, as far as salary, whether we do it now or do it at budget time, that does need to be addressed. If we're that far behind other counties, there's no way we can keep up with maintaining good personnel in our station. These are some things we need to think about before we grow. There's no sense in growing if we can't staff.
All right, report of the sheriff.
Good afternoon. Okay, I should have your reports in front of you. Revenues for January were $40,091.16, disbursement of $100. The average daily jail population was 712, so that's a slight increase. And then on the back, you'll see our calls for service broken down, how many. Total for January was 4,858 calls for service. So, slight increase from last January. We're staying busy. Questions?
I have a question, but it's a general question, but I'll apply later. How many employees do you have right now? As non-clerical, yeah.
I couldn't give you that number. That's not there.
And it
Patrol
applies,
deputies or jail?
it applies back to when we get down to the body, the vets and stuff later. I was just wondering how many we'd be looking at.
It's handwritten on that.
So it's like, is that everybody?
Yes, that would be all the guys that are going to get this.
Thank you.
Anything else?
All right, EMA?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner, our disaster recovery centers have closed for assistance for individuals through FEMA. We have been approved for public assistance. Public assistance is what reimburses the county utilities, the cities, for emergency protective measures, utilities damage, debris removal, and things like that. And we are scheduling an after briefing for that. We do have a mobile DRC, disaster recovery center, set up at Madison Church of Christ. I posted that, those dates and times on the EMA Facebook page. And so we're encouraging people, if they need to apply, they're still a mobile, and they can still call the 800 number to apply for assistance. And on a final note, cold weather's not done, y'all. We've still got cold weather coming. So, and that's my report.
Groundhog says, oh.
Yeah, groundhog is wrong.
Commissioner Ramos.
A week ago last night, I was out there on the call on Cummins Lane. The drones paid for themselves that night.
Yes, sir. They did.
That night alone. I didn't know what to think of the drones whenever they first came in, but they have truly been a lifesaver. So, thank you, Ken.
EMS?
Good evening. Everybody should have a copy of my, you have a copy of it, so.
should have a copy of my report. The first page there is our monthly call volume, calls versus transports for December of '23 and then of January of '24. The following page is a breakdown per station of the calls. Flipping on to the next page is our revenue. January revenue was $943,244. I did change that around so we can see that a little bit better, but currently we are at 4.955560 for our revenue, and that's running about 300,000 right now over what projections are at this point. So we're doing good with our revenue. The next page is our responses outside of Sumner County and inside of Sumner County. I went ahead and just broke down 24 and dropped it down below 23 on both of these. So you can see those numbers and responses in and outside of the county. The following page, 3 pages, is the total breakdown from CAD for all the different call types. We did look at that today, and we can't get that graph to do anything other than smash everything together, so I apologize for that. But it's broken out in the report afterwards. Moving past that, you'll see gross charges by charge type and charge description. That is as of 2/1 of 2024, and that is all the charges that have been billed for the fiscal year, with a small breakdown of that. Just reminding everyone, the ALS is paramedic EMT, so that's like the 911 call. BLS is where it would be either a 911 call where the paramedic is not needed, the EMT takes it, or it's the BLS stuff like the discharges and stuff. So moving past that is a net collections report. You can see where all the payments have come in and from where. That is per fiscal year, and that is as of 2/1 of 24. Next page is just the refunds, the second page of that report. Last page is our AR, our aging report, and that is fiscal year, and that is as of 2/1 of 2024 also. So you can kind of see where we are with our AR. I think our average AR right now is 71.
Can you explain AR, please?
AR, it's just, if you look at that last page, that is how much money we have in the top part is where it says current 31 to 60, 61 to 90. That's days. So you can kind of see where the money is and what. Aging report. Yes. Oh, okay. I apologize. So, yes, aging report. Thank you. Any questions?
You're in.
I have one. Okay. The 300,000 that we're up for this month in revenue, do you have an explanation as to why? That's a good thing, but is it like directed towards calls, or just the way you're doing something internally that's showing profits, revenue for this month versus it's going to be lower next month? Is there a reason why it's up that high?
Well, one, we have a fully staffed building department now. We were short one. Got that person hired in, and they are now kind of up to speed. It takes a little bit to learn all the ins and outs of everything. We had one retire the first of this month, and we have replaced her, and she is currently learning the ropes and learning the things. I just got them today, signed up for the certified ambulance coder course that they're going to be completing. But with everybody being there, it allows our billing supervisor, our billing manager, to start working a little bit, digging a little bit deeper on things. So what, $100 and something thousand we got from a nursing home.
So was it a lag from last month that's caught up now because you're staffed?
Yeah, it's a little bit like, but as far as like billing out calls, we're pretty much within 24 to 48 hours. When those calls are run, they're being billed out. So they're working hard to get those out.
So we'll see a balance in the year. It's not going to be
necessarily, we're getting, our crews are working hard to get the information on the front end, so we're not having that much lag anymore. So say I transport you, and you get your insurance information, then our billing clerks will have to call you, find that information, work with the hospital, try to get it, and it delays everything. Our crews are doing a good job of getting that information down and inputting it. So when our billing clerks get it the very next day, they can already bill it out within 24 to 48 hours. And we're getting that money back. If it's Medicare, we're getting it back,
previously, now we're up, or is it truly just a lag?
We have seen a trend upwards in our revenue. Yeah, I mean, our revenue's been, for the past 3 months, has been coming in very well.
All right, thank you.
Chairman Hines.
I hope they're not making very many calls. I see 4 in the Macon and Charleston County. That's quite a distance. Do we do that often?
I looked up the actual, addresses on these, and the ones that were for Macon County, those 3 were, Westside Elementary. It's in between Salem and Westside Elementary. One of them was a car wreck that was right there next to that store before you get to the west side. I used to work over there, I can't think of the name of the store, and then the one for Trousdale was like 3 miles into Trousdale County. So we're not going deep into these, it's just one of those where it's a bad wreck on 52 in Macon County, trucks will be coming from Robertson County, or not Robertson County, Red Bull and Springs, so they call us.
Closest truck, I guess.
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Boyd.
So, back to revenue. I looked at the charts, maybe I'm missing it. Do we have expenses,
Expenses,
total expenses? Because this is the 4th month of that.
there's not a report that I've seen in our billing that we can do for expenses.
Okay. So we don't know what,
Finance may be able to run a detailed report of what we've spent for the month. I mean,
if that's what I'm getting, I'll get it.
yeah, you can ask and see if they can give you a detail. But as far as our billing software, I could not find anything in there that would show expenses.
So I don't think it'd be in your billing, it'll be in your, like.
They should be able to pull that from Munis then.
I'll talk to Dave. Then I have a couple other questions. While we were going through the sheriff's salary review, one of the things that we talked about, and we talked to some of the other department heads about, was the benefits that we're supposed to provide. And once we looked at Robertson County, I believe that we found that they don't provide the retirement, the county pays retirement.
Chairman Boyd, that's off the topic.
So what I'd like to know is from your department, we've been asking, if it'd be better for you to hire people if we pull back on the benefits and give you show a higher salary to compete with these other counties.
That's not even on the agenda, Chairman Boyd. We can stick with the agenda. That's something that we may bring up on the salaries later. It's not on the agenda as part of the mayor's report, so that's something we can bring up
I'm
later.
sorry, it's kind of, but.
And we can bring that up later. It's not on the agenda.
All right.
Any other questions?
All right, the report of the ECC that came from, the mayor earlier. So, under old business, I believe this is from the ad hoc committee from animal control for Donna DeSoto to be appointed to the animal control ad hoc committee. There's members here that's on that.
Yeah, I would like a motion that should be appointed to.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Jones. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Boyd. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Discussion of the Gillsville Ambulance Service, Mayor and EMS Chief discussed feasibility with the City of Gillsville. All of you all should have, the email chain today where I reached out to, Chief of Gillsville. He replied back that, his city manager, would be the one that would be taking care of that. Basically, he says that, 18 to 24 months is the scope of what they're looking at there. So the City of Gillsville would, cover the construction of the fire hall, not seeking any funds from Sumner County, offer Sumner County staff the opportunity to review and design plans in order to ensure the meeting of needs. He said it's a simple and to the point conversation. So at this time, it sounds like we're kind of in the same situation that we are in the White House. It's very premature planning, very beginning planning. So the city says they'll reach out to us, when the time comes for that to be put into place. So, do you have any questions, comments, concerns with that?
Do we need to, Make a motion to table that.
Legal, I think it's overall, right?
Okay.
Thank you.
Take it off.
EMS locations, station locations, service areas, this rolled over from last month after several minutes of conversations. I don't know what else we need to do with this. Due to White House still being preliminary, Phillipsville still being preliminary, what the will of the committee is on the service area.
Is there a map? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Is there,
I get, we had one last month.
with the zones?
Yeah. It's probably,
Page 16. Not.
so, we'll still the committee. You wanna leave it, bring it back up next month, or? But I mean, I don't know of anything we can do with it.
Let it roll off.
24 months out, so we'll just let it roll.
Okay.
All right, brings us up into new business, interlocal agreement for inmate labor, pages 17 through 21. I have a motion.
Motion for discussion?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
I'll second.
Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Bergdorf. All right, who wants to take the floor?
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I like to address some citizen comments. I was concerned about what we've been doing with the inmates office. And I was wondering if we could provide Brad out back to tell us where we use inmates in county.
Well, I think this is actually talking about the cities. This is
Well,
going to the
I mean,
city of Galveston.
we're anywhere in the cities in the county. Anyway, I just want
I
to.
greatly understand that the cities are in the county, but the resolution is talking about the use of.
I just like him to tell us where we use inmates.
Sure.
If that's allowed.
Yeah, but
If I may, Mr. Chairman, I would this might help a little bit. Gallatin, I was told, was the one that uses the inmates the most, and they were really wanting to get back on board with the program. It had been stopped because of an injury that had happened in Hendersonville, and I had stopped them from using the municipalities because of the injuries and potential litigation that was going to occur out of that. And since then, we've been told that both Highway and the city of Gallatin, who we've not had any problems with, were anxious to get back involved again. That's why this is catered only to Gallatin, because I feel like this is going to need to be a municipality by municipality issue, not one where I can just rope everybody into one interlocal agreement.
does this tie us down to what they can be used for?
It limits the scope, yes.
And where does that, I mean, we never.
It's been a while since I wrote it out, but
Looks like it's on 19 for the turn.
Yeah.
right.
Roads, parks, public property.
It's basically the classic that you see, which is the litter pickup, limbs, maybe some mowing, things of that nature. They use them a lot at the city parks, things of that nature. Now, Chief Craddock can go into more detail on that. I really don't know how involved they get in the work they do.
Mr. Chairman, does this language tie up any issues that our law director has seen? Is that what this is for?
It
Fix
sounds
his
like-
concerns from when he stopped it?
Yes, it sounds like it. Did that answer your question, Commissioner Boyd, of where they were going to be working?
Are they working, not, who's that talking, did I ever talk to you?
Did that answer your question? I mean, it seems like it's pretty
No, my
specific.
question would be, is Gallatin still using them right now?
It's legal to answer that. Are they still using that? Sounds like you stopped that, right?
I stopped it. Now, if it has continued since, I have no knowledge of that.
Stopped everybody at this point.
All the municipalities, not the county.
In a local agreement, I wonder if we want to include the word other miscellaneous items. It is very broad.
Where are you talking?
Page 19, the interlocal agreement, where it says other miscellaneous items. It's a very broad term. I'd have to agree with the citizen comment.
Can I say where?
Oh, it's in the whereas, kind of like that in
Second paragraph.
second paragraph in the middle of it. Seems like it could be anything.
Go ahead, man.
I believe that's limit, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
I believe what that's just an additional descriptor to unsightly to the public that have accumulated. I think that's just expanding on trash is what that's
The
doing.
type of trash.
Right, it's not just miscellaneous chores, if that's what you're asking.
That's my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, discussion.
I did have one more. I reached out to the city of Gallatin. They're concerned about whether their liability, that they can pick up the liability that their insurer will pick it up, since they are inmates of the county. And I'd just like to ask that that be explored. If we can insurance from insurance. I'm happy with the resolution.
That's gonna be
When do we
if
talk?
I may, that's a Gallatin issue. I've got no purview over how they make those arrangements, whether they can or can't do it. It kinda reminds me of this whole interlocal agreement with the volunteer fire department in Hendersonville. There's nothing as a county we could do. They have to figure that out themselves.
Got it. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
The question you have was whether or not they would carry the insurance for that. I just wanted to understand.
Whether their insurance provider will allow them to insure an inmate of Sumner County.
So if that's still a liability, how does this correct the issue with the injury that happened previously? I thought that'd be the main thing of this.
My understanding is if they don't have insurance, we're not gonna release the inmates to them. Would that assumption be correct?
Well, to be honest, if they use them, they're gonna be responsible based on the interlocal agreement. Whether they've insured themselves is up to the city.
Okay.
They're just gonna be responsible.
They're owning their responsibility regardless if they.
They're self-insured, I guess, if that.
Correct.
Okay, I'm okay with that as long as they're owning their responsibility.
Commissioner Wright.
Here in Sumner County, unlike some other counties, we have one jail that encompasses every city inside this county. So if there is an arrestee in Gallatin, Hendersonville, Portland, White House, inside the city limits, they are still considered a county inmate. I'm sorry.
No, if I may. So then do we want to just hold the liability on the county? I'm okay with that. If that.
No.
No, that's,
No.
It goes to the city. The
It goes
city
to the
assumes
Yeah,
that.
when they're released to the city,
Pick it up.
if you work inside the jail, whenever they release these inmates, they are released to a representative from the city, and they are responsible for them whenever they walk out that door until they walk back in. And then once they come back in, of course, research, and they're back, well, they're our responsibility then. But once they walk through that door, it's their baby, not ours. That helps.
Any other questions? Have a motion?
I'm motion that we accept this.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Harris. All right, legal, just so we're clear, when it leaves from here, does it go to legislative or does it go to the floor?
I just wanted to make sure you all were okay with this before we entertained it with Gallatin, and then it'll come back as a bona fide, introduction for a resolution. Now that we've done this, I can kick the resolution up to commission, and then we can entertain the interlocal agreement and get some executed.
All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Right. Then, under new business, item B, Cisco Duo renewal, the sheriff's office, I have a motion.
So moved.
Second by Commissioner Harris, second by Commissioner Wright. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? All right, item C is the VM, renewal sheriff's office, information 24 through 25. I have a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion by Commissioner Wright, second by Commissioner Harris. All those in
I
favor?
had a question. Could you please just refresh me what this is? I'm trying to quickly remind myself what VEEAM stands for. What is it? Just in short.
This is the, I read two other.
This is the backup.
This is the backup.
24,
The Barracuda Web Security, yes. You're right.
For what?
The web security.
Web security.
Yeah, for point in the buildings and the license renewal.
For what they use in their in-house stuff.
Commissioner Wright, do you know? do you know what this actually covers? Are you familiar with this? The renewal? All right. Committee wants to suspend the rules, and that's Commissioner Deputy Craddock.
Motion to suspend the rules.
All right, all those in favor?
Cisco Duo is our multi-factor authentication, so that prevents you from hacking in and from trying to add our system. So you log in with your password, and then they send you a separate alert if you get approved, and let you in the system. And this is just crossing that's why that's not in front of you.
And the VEAM?
That's the overarching company, and then Duo, Cisco Duo is the actual product. I brought my IT guys, so I don't just speak. Is that correct, Mr. Williams?
So the two work together, right? Okay. So can't do one without the other, so we already approved.
So it sounds like we got C and D together. If we want to agree to approve those.
Barracuda, no, C and B were together.
Well, he says Barracuda, I believe, rides with,
Also,
sounds like they're all one.
I'll motion to approve and approve.
Motion to approve C and D, second by Commissioner Jones. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, now we're on E, scout funding. Chief Craddock, you want to go ahead and roll on through these?
I hate that.
State criminal alien assistance program, so basically we hold an illegal alien grant. Federal government kind of reimburses credential out, cost salary costs. They give you a list of items that you're allowed to spend that money on. This year we're going to put it in medical and dental services because we're kind of expecting a large medical bill sometime around April from Sumner Regional. And this will pad our lines a little bit to pay that.
This is for illegal aliens?
The medical bill will be paid for everybody.
So it's federal money that comes to the county.
Yeah, we need to discuss this.
Have a motion to discuss?
Motion.
Oh, where's the one? Second by Commissioner Boyd. Yes. Go ahead, Commissioner Jones.
So explain a little bit about, we're still suspending rules, or do we?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you explain a little bit about what we're funding as far as, the illegal aliens portion of that with this funding? Federal government.
We're not funding the right. We're housing, right? When they get arrested for a crime, they go to jail, we house them there. The federal government is reimbursing some of the correctional officer salaries because we're having to deal with federal crime.
Okay.
And they tell us what we use that SCAP money for.
And what do we use that SCAP money for?
Last year, we used it to enhance the offender management system within the jail, increase our Wi-Fi capability so we could make our jail court work everywhere in the jail.
All that sounds great. The thing that made my ears perk up was the medical and dental, expenditures.
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit about that?
Whenever there's a medical incident that our medical staff inside the jail can't handle it, and then they just send out to Sumner Regional or Skyline or somewhere, we still get a bill for that. And we sent a certain few inmates to Sumner Regional quite a bit, and we're expecting a pretty large, hefty bill come April. So we're just going to take the SCAP money and put it in the medical dental services line. That way there's a pad there when that bill does come.
I like that we're getting reimbursed for that. Is there any way to, I don't know, I want to make sure that they're not getting benefits for being incarcerated.
Unfortunately, they do. And I'm not trying to, well, anyway, it is what it is. Unfortunately, there's two things that people find when they go to jail. The first one is Jesus. The second one is free healthcare. So when they go in there, they'll come back out with a new pair of teachers and a good, clean bill of health. And it's at this expense. Unfortunately, but that's how it is.
And we don't have any
if you deny,
mechanisms on that.
no, if you deny someone a roll of toilet paper, you'll find yourself sitting at Broadway downtown. Because that's their right to have toilet paper and stuff. I'll name one of those citizens. Mr. Wood?
Is this grant dependent on the number of users that you have?
There's a formula that BJI does to tell you, they basically tell you, this is what you're going to get this year.
Based on, is it based on the last 12 months, 5 months?
I think it is based on the calendar year. And then they got back up during COVID, which is why you guys are seeing 3 SCAP grants come through since you took office. And this is the most recent it gets from Colorado. Don't quote me on that, I'm 90% sure SCAP is based on the calendar year, not the fiscal year.
How many do you hold? Sumner Regional, it seems like in some conversation we have, and I've heard that we get a discount since we sold, the county sold. Can you address that? Do we get a discount?
I don't know that we get a discount. I know that I've had conversations with the CEO at Sumner Regional. He's worked with us tremendously since we've had to send a certain few inmates over there quite frequently. I don't know if we get a discount. I guess that's the best answer. Our medical provider has access. Their billing department is the one that does all the negotiations, like on the Skyline. They got it down to 40% of what the first bill was.
And we just negotiated that last year, I believe it was.
They've done a tremendous job. Our medical staff is top notch.
All right, I understand the need for it, I just wanted to ask a question so I could be informed with what I'm voting on.
Well, you'll be up next too, again, Chief. All right, so, Scott, we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, now we're down to F, ARPA funding for outer load-bearing vests, pages 34 and 35. Do I have a motion? Motion, Commissioner Wright, second. Commissioner Jones. All right, questions, comments, concerns?
Question.
Go ahead.
This is for, new upgraded, body armor with outer load-bearing capabilities.
I believe this is
To fully outfit everybody. What's being done with all the old stuff?
typically, speaking out just because I know that the other stuff is credit, I'll let you speak, is either surplus and gone on or destroyed because they've expired on plates. But I'll let him explain to what that is.
If they're expired, we'll destroy them. Same way we destroy any other evidence. If they're not expired, we keep them in stock, and then when we hire somebody new, it takes probably 6 weeks, but from the time we order them a vest, before it's come in, so we'll keep it in. Still a good date, this fits you, great, put this on, your new one come in. They do have about a 5-year shelf life, depending on the vendor.
I didn't realize that.
And unfortunately, several of ours are out of date.
I know just a tiny bit about armor plates, so now that's it. I had no idea that they expired, so that's nice to know.
Commissioner Boyd?
So with them expiring, we're gonna replace them anyway. Are we moving up, like, I don't know much about body, I know nothing about body armor. Are we going from Chevy to Mercedes? Are we going up a little bit, or are we getting a higher package?
I guess that depends on the perspective, right? If you ask one of the patrol deputies who wears the duty belt every day, yes, we're going from a Chevrolet to a Mercedes, right?
Yeah.
There are tons of studies out there that show that low-bearing vests decreases lower back injuries and hip injuries officer. So yes, they're going to say yes. As far as level of coverage, the vest is going to be very similar to what we're using right now. It's just going to go into an outer plate, and they'll be able to put the attachment up on their chest instead of carrying it on their hips.
I like all of that. What about cost? Right here we get a cost of $1,400 a unit. So we're gonna move up slightly, and I like the idea that everybody's gonna be more comfortable, they're gonna be more equipped and all that. How much are we going up by unit in cost to get just a little bit more? Because we're gonna have a replacement cost as we go down the road, every 5 years, or we're gonna mingle it in every year. We're gonna have, what's the unit cost now compared to this one?
We're probably going up about $140 by the time you take into account the duty belt, all the holsters that go onto the duty belt. I would say it's probably an increase of about $140.
This is gonna put a smile on their face when they see the citizens, they're gonna be happy.
This has been the #1 thing that deputies have asked for since I began this year.
Commissioner Wright?
Whenever we discuss the replacement cost, we're just replacing the carrier itself every 5 years, correct? We're not gonna be replacing the taser holster, the handcuff pouches and so forth. It's just gonna be the outer carrier itself. The other stuff that attaches to it will be able to carry over. So it's not gonna cost the full amount.
Is that the Guardian, the top portion?
Yes, yes, sir.
May I again?
Sure.
That's a good point.
With the 5-year expiration, should we be buying these in fifths so that it's smooth? The 5th year, we might be in a budget crisis, you might not get them. Should we be buying a fifth?
I think logistically, I think in theory that sounds great. In application, I think it makes it much more difficult to manage on my level for the quartermaster.
motion? Second? All those, go
I
ahead.
will be abstaining from this because it will apply directly to me. Thank you.
All right, so all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Then we're down to the ARPA funding for taser upgrades in the sheriff's office found on page 36. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Commissioner Wright, second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Burkhardt. Any questions, comments, concerns? This is just a taser upgrade, it should. All right, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
I'll be abstaining again.
All right, speaking by, Commissioner Wright, sorry. Approval for prior chainsaw purchase by EMA, page 37. From my understanding is this was bought during the tornado. There was some, equipment they had some issues, and didn't want to keep going, so, the director had to have some equipment to work with at the time. He went and bought these, and I think he's asking for reimbursement, for money, in the amount of $1,461.72. The motion, Commissioner Harris, second.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wright. Commissioner Boyd, have a question?
Is this a new appropriation or is this just
This is just a reimbursement. So let's see if it shows the fund transfer.
I didn't see one, but
No. So I'm assuming it would be just one-time new money, just to reimburse them for the equipment that was needed. Question. Commissioner Jones?
That's 4 chainsaws, you said 8 chainsaws.
Sorry, yes, it's for the invoice that showed there.
And is this, adding to our fleet of chainsaws, or like were there the ones that were problematic that triggered this repaired since then, that we now increased our fleet of operable chainsaws, or stuff for damage?
Director White, can you come up? Sorry, I'm talking. Keep rolling, I guess not. Go ahead.
Call this question. These 4 chainsaws, did they replace 4 old ones, or did we just increase our fleet?
We didn't have enough chainsaws with, what we had going. They're basically mid-size, but not big saws by any means. And, our primary goal there is to get EMS and police or our personnel into the area the tornado went through. Because we rely on utilities and highway departments and such to get the big trees out of the way. We don't move trees, we just try to make access for public safety.
Well, these, and like in a regular day-to-day operations, of course, chainsaws are not going to be used, but periodically they will be. This is an event that doesn't happen very frequently, so when it gets done with them, are they apt to fail from sitting on a shelf for
They get started, in fact, one of our part-timers sitting right here, equipment gets started every day, chainsaws get started probably a couple times a week, or a couple times, once every couple of weeks, rather.
Commissioner Harris?
You also have to take into fact that a chainsaw is a chainsaw, they will fail, and you always need a backup. I don't know if you've ever used a chainsaw.
Oh, all the time.
Half the time they'll mess up, I mean, you spend more time fixing them than you do. So that's why they need these chainsaws.
Yeah, to my point, that keeping them running is the key to keeping a chainsaw going. So sitting on a shelf is the death of a chainsaw. That was not.
Yeah, we work to keep the equipment like that. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm just curious how many chainsaws we have. I mean, we're buying more, but we don't even know how many we have.
How many saws we have now? We have 8 now, we have 4, we have 8 now.
Just so I can be clear for a minute, I think that we have a property, person who inventories and puts tags on all county property. So, I mean, I'm sorry, but we sit here for almost an hour and asking questions on how many chainsaws we have in storage somewhere, or some of that stuff is just, I don't think it's appropriate, I think it's out of order. So if we can stay on the things that's on the agenda, let's maintain on what we've got behind the chair. Let's maintain on what we've got, in front of us, so we can get through this. Go ahead.
You interrupted somebody that was asking a question that was pertaining to this, and we're all just trying to learn. We have not made a decision one way or another on this, and I think these questions are in line. And that's, I think it was fine to keep going with that. Spending 3 minutes on one topic is not spending an hour in the whole meeting. So I think it's fine to talk.
So what I was trying to encourage though is a lot of these questions can be asked before we come here. So just like Commissioner or Chairman Hyde says in the chambers, get 3 hours and do an hour worth of work. All I'm doing is trying to encourage members. If you've got questions, we can ask questions prior to coming here, so we make sure that we're on the right track and we stay focused and are timely in our meetings. So, Commissioner Boyd, do you have any other questions?
I just have to say, before I approve things, I just want to know how many we have. I think it was a legitimate question. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. Next item up on the agenda is 25 kilowatt trailer generator that's found on pages 38 and 39. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
All
I'll
right.
second that,
All right.
but I would like to
Sure.
ask a question.
Yeah.
What specifically is this for? And if it's in my packet, I'm sorry, I didn't.
It is, we have 12 communication sites across the county. We have purchased 2 of what we have deemed to be the best generators on the market. 25 kW, they have Appleton plugs on, so we can go up to any site, plug it in, it disconnects the utility, because the probability of multiple sites in a line, typically southwest and northeast of our power sites, we could have a power failure, we could possibly lose the emergency backup generator on the site.
So these are generators for the county.
They are for us.
Not
They are
for
for us.
private.
We have 2 that we bought on the grant, didn't cost the county a dime. There is a maintenance, real low, we maintain our own equipment. They run on diesel fuel. They run 60 hours on a tank of fuel. We know they're gonna work when we start them. I guess that we could have problems with them, but they are very solid units. And our goal is to have 4 of these. When I did the grant last year, we were approved for $24,000, which has already been approved for the commission. It's in my line. The generator has gone up $6,880.24, and that's what I'm asking for, to be able to make this purchase, to add a third to our fleet with the same plug, the same generators. They service the same, they're identical, they all operate the same, and I want to add an additional next year with grant money if I get that approved on the Homeland Security grant. So I'm asking for the difference from the $24,000 to the new price on the generator, and this is all through Sourcewell. Government pricing.
We did these all out here.
It's not bid, it's through Sourcewell.
You explain that.
It's a service just like GSA that we can buy through without bidding, and it's all approved through all the legal avenues to be able to purchase through Sourcewell. We make a lot of purchases through Sourcewell. It's cooperative, isn't it? It is. Yes, sir. Nationwide cooperative. You get the cheapest price. I think that's the reason they're discounted so much, because they're offered nationwide.
Commissioner Johnson?
So these plug into a substation?
What is our tower sites?
Your tower
communication sites. They're not, they are for communications.
Okay.
Now, to address personal homes, we don't go to personal homes. We do have some occasions where this year during the tornado, we had a child that was on a breathing machine. Henderson Power asked for a small generator. We sent a 22 kW generator down, and they hooked up to his breathing machine on an extension cord. They managed that. They got him through until the power came up, and we retrieved the generator. A small Honda generator.
No, that's fine. That's understandable. And the only thing you're asking, you already have it in your budget or your plan to purchase this, but the price has gone up, so you're asking for the difference.
I'm just asking for the price. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
All right. A motion to approve.
You got a motion?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? All right. You may want to have them right there. Request to apply hazardous materials, emergency preparedness, HMEP grant for EMA, pages 40 through 55. Do I have a motion?
Discussion?
Sure.
Second.
Second. All right.
I was confused because the dates go back to the grant now.
That is last year's application, we do not have this year's application. And with the new format to request application for a grant, I don't know how soon it starts. So I'm trying to get that accomplished if I can, so I can apply for the grant when the package comes out, which is gonna be soon. But I don't want to be behind it. Yep. Yep. They told me that it would be the same contract. I've been an identical contract.
Legal. I would have some stipulation that if it does get approved, that it's contingent upon the exact same verbiage as this one, otherwise it's gonna need to be reviewed again.
So I guess I have a question here, like we did with the, I think it was the sheriff's office grant. Does this committee just grant the department permission to go forward with it? And then it goes to the budget after? How's the best way to do that, or should it reside here until he gets the packet?
I don't think budget needs to see it till it's an actual grant to be reviewed.
So we're just giving permission as long as it matches what's
The
already.
verbiage is the same, yes.
Knowing grants, that may be hard to do, but.
Mr. Chairman,
It basically would be starting over.
So can we just give him permission to bring the grant here? Because we still have to come through here, and then we can fast track it to wherever it needs to go. As soon as it
That's
gets
an option, yes.
I just don't want to have his hands tied. Like,
Mr. Chairman,
yeah,
could we do a contingent on his approval?
on legal's approval, yeah, that's fine with me. Yes. Sure.
I believe that we need to ask legislation to address the need for a more defined grant policy on how to handle this. Not to slow this down, but I feel like we need more guidance on how we're going to address grants.
And then I asked for that 2 months ago, and I think we basically decided it was going to come to the committee and us be the permission grantor for the department heads to proceed, and then this is where we get into the hamster wheel of running around and around, deciding where it goes from here. I mean, we just like deciding where it goes from here.
With no guidelines.
Yeah, because we don't know what guidelines to give him, because we don't know what the application is going to be. They say it's going to be the same thing. I'd like to say that it's the same thing, but he doesn't write the grants. We're just saying, yeah, go forward. But how do you go forward on what you don't know what you got to go forward on? I mean,
That's my problem.
I think I can bring something to your office, but not to slow this down.
I've got plenty of time on this, so I've done one of these grants 16 or 17. It's a real simple grant.
can we move this to next month? Will that help you up? Just keep it on our docket for March.
I'm with whoever you serve, whatever you want to do.
Flattery. Because if we give him permission to go, I mean, we're opening up, not to say that he will, but if we give him permission to go ahead, then he can find the grant. I don't understand what the intent is, I guess, is what I'm trying to get at.
I've got nothing to say it's okay or not okay, or that there's certain things that need to be removed. However, if passage from this committee is conditioned upon my review or for some sort of re-review here, however you want to do it, there's more than one way to skin a cat, but
Right.
however you want to play it, I'm okay with, but it's not something you can send up when you have nothing to send up.
Commissioner Jones, do you have a resolution for this?
Yes, well, I want to make a comment that I believe that this was the intent of what they passed in the grant writing procedure, for him to bring forward as soon as possible something to put it on the radar of everybody that has to look through it. Now we've got all of us that are going to chew on 15 pages of this. In the meantime, he's going to bring forward the new version of it that we can compare to it, and he's already stated that he's got plenty of time on this. So I think this is, in essence, what was supposed to happen. So it's on everybody's radar. If anybody in budget or legislators looking at this, they can, or other commissioners, they know that it's been brought out and it's in the open now. It's not going to be a surprise to anybody when the new version comes, but I don't think we have to make a decision tonight on it. I like what you said about deferring it to next month, give us time to look at this version of it first.
So what if we defer to next month, but allow him to seek approval pending legal's review?
I don't think he needs to. He's gonna bring in a new version of it anyway, and we can make that decision when the new version comes. In the meantime, he brought forth something to
know
not
something.
surprise us.
Yeah, I get it.
So we don't have to take any action on something that's not even valid yet, because it's an old grant. But we can look at it.
Mr. Chairman, I think the intent was, I'm gonna deviate a little bit here. The intent was the second you had knowledge of a new one, it needed to start making its other progress through, even though the deadline wasn't up or whatever, but still the intent was to get the working document moving as soon as possible, not what you think it's gonna be.
Okay.
So it's gonna keep putting us at the same impasse, but that's how I understood it to be.
So then why don't we just let this roll, and when Director Widener gets it, he can forward it to me, I can forward it to legal can look through it, and we'll put it on that month's agenda.
I think that
We've got no
spirit
of it now. Is that fine with you?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to commend him for doing that, bringing it forward as soon as he knew about it.
That's
That's the way it's supposed to be done. That's the way it should be done.
Yeah, so that's what we'll do then, as soon as you get it, just bring it to me, and we'll bring it back.
Dropping and rolling.
We'll just drop it, and then once he gets it, we'll bring it back. All right. K, we have 3 more items, folks. K, volunteer fire department deeds, page 56 through 70.
Mr. Chairman, these are for the, county-owned, deeds only, they're not the whole site.
Right. I think this is more information that someone had asked for them, and we've now got it. So we'll just let that drop off. I don't think there's any action needs to be taken with it. All right. So then brings us to volunteer fire department funding structure. I had a volunteer fireman reach out and explain to me some of the funding ideas that they came up with. Kind of want to get into a certain number of square miles, and they get more funding for the stations and emails. I mean, the emails are in the packet. I didn't really make sense. I made sense of it, but I didn't. I don't think I was so much in favor of it. But we'll let you guys, what's the will of the body, since the idea starts here. Go ahead, Commissioner Hodges.
Chairman, I think we need to veer away from this, because I think the attorney has told us on more than one occasion that, creating a formula where we say we are funding you rather than a grant each, year is making them more of a county fire department. And I don't feel comfortable with it, and I'm not sure I do.
Well, we have something to
But if I may, Chairman, I've been given some, information I haven't had time to go through over the past week related directly to this, so if we could maybe bump it a month so that I can review it and maybe answer some of those questions and give my legal input on it.
I make a motion to carry it over.
I'll second.
Motion second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right, EMS service in the city of White House, page 73 through 88. I'm not sure, maybe I was the one that was, in the opinion of the mayor, was a violation of the sunshine law, hope not. But I may have been, because I replied back to this. So, and then I was asked for it to be put on here, so I had to request of Commissioner Boyd. This was added on here. Go ahead, Commissioner Boyd, I'm not sure where it was headed with that.
As I asked you at the beginning of the meeting, I was wondering if we could have a positive of your information on this.
And we can speak to the topic just like we have all the others. But I just want to be sure, though, that we understand this is very, very, very baby stages. I mean, just today, I think the mayor said that he had, I understand he's here, that the mayor had looked for some land, so I don't want us to get too far out there in the rumor mill, if you would. Go ahead, what's your question?
Well, as far as baby steps, I'm looking at it from budget, we've got to lock this in. If we look at the ARPA money, we're locked in. December of this year, we have to make a commitment now on budget. That's where I'm coming from. We need a commitment. And if this isn't needed, then we need to find another project, because we've got a timeline, and it's
not a baby step, we,
So legal, if I can, I don't know that this is, I was asking. I think that the idea of the fire, the EMS station is under the mayor's purview. We would not launch that from here, whether it's a good idea for it to go to White House or Portland or wherever. Am I correct in thinking that, or would we have to say that idea that we want to spend one for the White House, or is that under his? I'm not trying to put you on the
Well,
spot.
I get that, and to the mayor's point, I think that people often get discussions confused with deliberation, and sometimes you gotta discuss and figure out what you're gonna deliberate.
Sure.
So, I think that's where you're at now, is the discussion phase. There's nothing been presented to me that needs any legal review, and I don't know, short of you all telling me you're ready to deliberate on something, this is just too much in its infancy to, unless you can shed some light.
Mr. Boyd, I don't know where to go. Go ahead, man.
Well, the genesis of all of this is the fact that this body put it in the ARPA funds. I mean, there is ARPA funds dedicated for a station in Westmoreland that we're going to rebuild, and there's money dedicated for White House.
When?
So we voted on it. We voted on the ARPA funds.
Okay.
Yeah, that whole chart of ARPA funds are what this body voted on. That was y'all's decision. And we're just moving on those decisions. We haven't gotten that far on this, hence not bringing, Mr. Herman in on the process and Millersville and Portland. We just haven't had the information yet for them, but yes, we are moving towards that direction. And then as we get that information, we bring all of that to this body. But the only reason why we're even moving on this is because y'all voted on it.
And Commissioner Jones asked the question, was it this commission? It was this commission, I believe, that put those wheels in motion.
It was. If I can address that, I think the majority of commissioners did not realize when it came through in the budget package in June that this item had been added. And I've spoken to several commissioners about, like, did you know that we voted to have 2 new EMS stations built? And they told me I was wrong. More than 5 told me, you're completely wrong. And I said, no, really, we did.
Yeah, I didn't
And so, you voted on it, you didn't.
Y'all didn't under, I'm sorry.
It's a large bucket of money.
It was, can we, is it okay to hear from White House?
I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules to hear from them.
Sure. Motion by Commissioner Jones, suspend the rules. All those in favor? Second.
Commissioner, thank you for the opportunity to stand before you. I don't do that very often. Times I think in my 12-year career as a city administrator, before that, 28 years in law enforcement, I've been around a long time. And I think early on we had a commissioner. The issue I did with law enforcement was pretty hectic. The thing we went through when we tried to get rid of the constables, that was quite dramatic at one time. But we have a few other things. But I figure county has their business, cities have their business, and EMS is a county business, but it affects all our cities in some way, shape, or form. How they're going to get there? And our experience, my experience in law enforcement, police and fire are usually on scene of a call within 2 to 5, 6 minutes. We're always there first. When we decided to, it's been quite a while back around 2009, we started making decisions. We're talking about consolidating communication centers. So all of us had our own communication centers, so it made it a lot easier for us to hear what was going on and being able to dispatch police, fire, and EMS. When Robinson County built a communication center, we decided because of our industrial business growth was so much on the Robinson County that we would shift and we would go in and we would disband our communication center and go with Robinson County. And we did that. And working, that was something we needed to do. Millersville and Portland eventually decided to go with Sumner County if they consolidated and built their facility. And that was working. And what we found in our responses was that calls were coming in for EMS for Sumner County side EMS would be responding. However, our police and firefighters were not notified that this was going on most of the time. And our fire chief was really getting irritated with it, and he was trying to figure out how can we best, handle the needs of Sumner County EMS. Should we contract our own EMS? Should we hire our own EMS? And then the idea came up with, wait, Robertson County already has one of their ambulances sitting right here in the center of town in our fire station number 1. Why don't we see, and there's an ambulance service right up in Portland on the Sumner County side, and there's an ambulance service down in Millersville on the Sumner County side, handled by Millersville. Why don't we see if we can get everybody together to the table and create a situation where Robertson County would take care of all the White Houses, so communications all works together on the same radio system, same frequencies and all that. And then same thing with Portland and Millersville. Let's see if we can get them working together. And they would cross the line and go to Robertson County and take care of Portland, Robertson, and Millersville, Robertson. And we started that in 2017. It was it really made me bring everybody together, like put in my letter and all the actual information that we had and those that were taken. We brought everybody to the table. So since 2017, it's been working really good. Our police officers are using Narcan to save multiple lives. The fire department, they've rescued people. They've been able to save people who are getting them on life support, starting CPR. They can stop the bleeding. These type of things that help emergency services. So it's been going really well. And then I got a call about a year and a half ago. Maybe there was a possibility that Sumner County wanted to just go ahead and take care of the White House side. And so I'm pretty passionate about it. One thing I'm passionate about, I told the committee, I have a pacemaker. My building, my office is in the Sumner County side. Just up the road is the Robertson County ambulance. If I needed one, I could get one, but if the call goes to Sumner County and my police and firefighters don't even know that I'm having a heart attack, I'm going to be there, they could get there and get me going, start me up, get me going, keep things going so I can stay alive. But that's not the way it works. So I thought, well, I'm going to fight, and we're going to fight hard to see if we can keep it the way it is. And so we talked about the resolutions needed to be a little bit modified because some law changes. I appreciate that, and we took care of that. You voted on it. The Robertson County Commission voted on it, and things are going really well. And then I thought, okay, fine, we're no problem. And then it came up again just a few weeks ago that you may be voting on putting an ambulance and building a facility in the White House. I didn't understand why, so I thought that's why I wrote the letter saying this is our position. Not that we're going to stop Sumner County, because Sumner County has the responsibility of providing EMS services to the county. I get that. That's your responsibility. And I don't want you in my business. I don't want to be in your business. But this is a pretty important life issue. We're talking about saving people's lives. So I'm okay with Sumner County moving forward something like that, but please don't just do it quickly without us knowing what you're planning on doing. Where are you going to locate an ambulance in White House? Is it going to be more central? Putting it down at where the new elementary school is being built, that's not the place. That's the furthest south that you can go in our city, and you get all the way north where we have other people living in far north side. It takes a while to get up there, so we need it to be more central. We would need an ambulance there, obviously, and we need communication. I don't know how we're going to overcome the communication barrier. I know technology's changed a lot over the last 10 years, 15 years since we've been looking at how we're doing our processes, but what can we do about communication? So if that hurdle can be shown to us, White House, that can be overcome, and that we can quickly get police and fire and an ambulance there, then I'd be okay with it. But that's just the way it normally works. I mean, I worked the beat as a cop for a lot of years, worked a lot of accidents. Police and fire are always there before ambulance. I mean, it's maybe 1% of the time an ambulance may just come across and they're in an accident, they're there. But police and fire are there first. And we have a well-trained police force, a well-trained fire department. They're all full-time, both police and fire, very well staffed, very well equipped. And then I got our fire chief here, our police chief here. So our fire chief told me that even our equipment that we use for life support issues, and when we're changing oxygen masks and things of that nature, are compatible with Robertson County, but they're not with Sumner County. So that's another issue we have to resolve. But if those issues can be resolved, like the mayor says, like Commissioner West says, for us, covers White House, if that can be done, then I'm all for it. But right now, I'm not for it until you can get something right. So if you're going to spend money, that's up to you. It's all your money. It's how you want to do things. But that's our position in White House. It wasn't a letter saying we don't want it. it's a letter saying, if you're gonna do it, please talk to us. I mean, let's make sure we can provide really good services for our Sumner County residents on our wireless plan. But we are growing, as you all know, like everything else in Sumner County, it just took off and moved. I mean, we've doubled our population since I started there in 2008, and I think over the next few years, we're gonna double it again. So it's happening fast, so that's really all I, thank you.
Just, you may want to comment or not, it's just a statement about what you said, but, several years ago, when I was, director of schools, the Board of Education just pretty quickly said, we are not doing education cooperatively in this city anymore. And Robertson County had to hustle to build a school on their side. Now, I'm not saying that county commissions do wacky things, but just suppose the Robertson County Commission someday, next year, 10 years, were to say our ambulance will not go on the Sumner County side of White House. What do we tell the White House residents on the Sumner County side? You have no ambulance there. We'll call Millersville, we'll call Portland to get to your Sumner County. That's why I was first for this. But if White House truly, and I'm not saying this mean-spirited, but if White House does not want a station there, we have other places to spend the ARPA money. But I was just thinking about what could happen, and you could have half your city uncovered. Because it would be up to your county commission in Robertson County to say, we will no longer go on the Sumner County side.
And same thing with Portland and Northwood, and actually that's the same thing with Sumner could say, we're no longer gonna go over there on the Robertson County side. We knew that going into it, that's why we had these agreements, and that's why we did the resolutions to try to protect us. But yeah, at any time, any one of them can back out. I understand that fully. I certainly would hope that they wouldn't happen something like this, because it's a pretty high priority for communities to provide public safety.
Mr. Chairman, with everything that he said and the fact that the mayor has been talking to the director of schools about a possible location, that everything being in the infant stage, and we don't know where that location is, that hasn't even been revealed. He knows where the need is. We don't know if those two needs match up, and we're on, as Commissioner Boyd said, a timeline for this ARPA money. Is this even possible to do within the timeline we have allotted, or do we just need to table this if and when it is needed in the future? But it sounds like a whole lot to cram into a year. What do we have, a year and a half timeline for this ARPA?
10 months now, but we got it met by December.
There's a lot of unknowns there to cram in for that 10-month period.
It's the earmark, I think, is what has to be done.
Right.
Sure, I'll come to you next. Go ahead.
I appreciate you guys, and Jerry, I know we've talked a lot, man, and I think that you do an excellent job running the city and, spending with our police and fire. Excellent job on the White House side. Guys, we're looking at planning for the future for the White House area, all right? As representative of the White House area, I have concerns, just on the books, and I got these numbers today. For the Sumner County side, we've got 871 houses approved to be built. Robertson County's 2,103 houses. There's a lot of growth going to happen in this area. And the Sumner County side is solely dependent upon Robertson County at the moment to say, we need to improve service. There is one ambulance located within White House. My understanding is that's one of the busiest ambulances of Robertson County. So is it in service and in the area all the time? I don't know. I've asked that question. I know I talked to Chief Potts earlier. I think we're going to get some information, some data, and start looking at that. But what I'm asking for, as far as representative from White House, is that we look for the future. An ambulance, you just don't go to a lot and buy an ambulance. It's what, a year and a half, 2-year lead time? Same thing with the facility. We're still talking about it's going to take time. And waiting till the need arises, you're 2 years now behind me. So we know growth is coming. We know there's a need. This won't just service the city of White House. Since you're locating this, and I'm all for it, let's look at the information. make a data-driven decision on where this needs to go. But I think there's an opportunity for improvement in the area. It will service the city of White House, the communication stuff, all that stuff. We talked about that. You know, there are some hurdles we're going to have to overcome. No one's saying that we're going to blow up exactly what's going on today. You know, so just like our interlocal agreement where everything's dispatched into Robertson County and the closest ambulance would then be dispatched out of Robertson County, whether that's from Sumner or from Robertson. So that stuff doesn't change. So we're not looking at a complete revamp. It's literally, we're just looking to improve service for the citizens. You know, police and fire, we get to the incidences. I feel like very quickly, Jerry, you said that you confronted the data. I know I have witnessed police and fire get to an incident, but in the ambulance, it's 20, 30 minutes out because it's responding from Springfield.
We actually found where it was responding from Southwell Road.
Absolutely, yeah, that was our closest one.
Then we had to wait for Beach or Portland to come to the White House, so we were already in that situation. That was our.
Yeah, and so this is just a good opportunity. Let's close the gap. Let's close the gap and just ensure that we've got adequate coverage. Because when it comes to public safety, Jerry, you and I know we talked. We're on the same page. We don't want to monkey around with it. We just want to make sure we're doing the best we can. That's right. I agree with this. Yes, thank you. Commissioner Boyd.
Should we just call it a comment? Has Robertson County addressed if you need another ambulance, they wouldn't run one into your city?
I'll let, if you don't mind, Chief, walk through this. Yeah, Robertson County frequently brings in other trucks to stand by White House, Cross Plains or Springfield PD. They've also, they have a second truck available as soon as we can find some footage. The truck and the staff is ready to activate the truck in White House.
So they're ready to staff up?
Can I speak to that? So I spoke with the Robertson County chief, and his opinion is that we could both put an ambulance up there and be justified at this time. He has not received any funding to staff that ambulance and does not know if that will go through or not.
I wonder if we can find them. Another question for if at some time there was this situation such as the school, would you be able to find us a day to put our, as far as our stationary ambulance in and we didn't have a, if Robertson County was to pull back and say, we are no longer going to serve our Sumner County residents, would White House find us a day?
We don't have to pay any separate at this point, so.
So I think that, so herein lies the problem. It's infrastructure. Lack of planning and infrastructure. And now here we are. One could argue that we're already 2 years behind the eight ball. We already know there's 3,000 residents coming in, or 3,000 houses coming in, so that's what, 6,000 or 8,000 people that's coming in. And then you have 65 and 31 that can run a wreck at any time. Life flight on there, 2 ambulances running out, and then you've got a station again without any medical coverage. So really and truly, these are all conversations that I believe the mayor and I spoke to, and you'll have a copy of the emails. These are what we're willing to come to the table and have, just as we did with the resolution where we was able to resolve and tidy up the language when we first came into office between the city of White House, Portland, Millersville, Robertson County. That's what we're going to have to happen again. So as we get closer to time and everything starts tightening down, and the chief will be involved to make recommendations on the apparatuses for the air, I mean, for the oxygen, all that stuff's going to have to be there, because I'm sure that our doctor's not going to sign off on Robertson County's training protocol without them two coming together and say, what's your training protocol, how are you going to respond, how are you going to treat, and what's triage look like. All that stuff has to happen. So, go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm fine with continuing this conversation. I just want to see the ideas for where White House thinks the need is going to be versus the ideas that have been proposed for where they could be, that's being floated out there but held back. I want to see what areas we're talking about, because there's some areas that we definitely probably don't need to put in White House, it sounds like, but an area that, you know, Commissioner Wynn's saying possibly may is that property that is not being talked about in that area.
Yeah, the property that we're looking at right now, and Mr. Harvey and I talked about it, it's at the corner of North Palmer's Road and,
Meadow Road at the back end of the White House High School.
Right behind
Where the baseball field is. It goes back a long time ago, but our former mayor used to be the principal school. Anyways, we worked out a deal that the school would give us an acre of land, about an acre of land, school property there, if we connected the sewer system to it. So we did that, we gave it to the city. We held on to it, our fire chief said, we can't put a fire station, it's supposed to be for a fire station. Couldn't put a fire station on that lot, it was just too small for that. So anyways, a few years back, we had some other deal like we were dealing with giving you all our football stadium and kind of things. We found this property had an issue, so I had our attorney write up a quick claim deed and give it back to the school. So that property is basically used for the coaches to park their cars when they have baseball practice. So that is centrally located. That would be a good spot if you have an ambulance there. Would certainly not be opposed to that. I think it's large enough. I mean, there's enough there between what we had and what was left there. It's probably large enough to put a station there. We'll take a station. My only concern is that you have a station with an ambulance sitting in there, and we have a call, and I say it's on Sumner County side. Our calls go to Robertson County. Our police and fire respond. Your ambulance doesn't have any idea that we have a medical emergency going on in Sumner County. We got to get that fixed. If we can't get past communication issues, we can overcome buy an ambulance and build a facility, but we've got to overcome the communication issues so that our police and fire and your ambulance, even though they're dispatched to two different centers, are both getting the message that, hey, this is going on in the White House. Now, we need help. Somebody needs help. That's what I need. So,
Well, like I said earlier, a lot of that could too be going back to the PSAP routings and all that stuff. I mean, it's a whole mess that goes, yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Commissioner Harris.
Since this is a process in the making, Mr. Isabel was working with these folks, motion to bring this back on next month's agenda.
There's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. So we'll just roll this over. So I think I would recommend is just let it stay under old business. It could be part of the chairman or the mayor's report under old business, and if there's updates to the land, or we'll be able to have that updated at that time, that'll be there on the agenda.
So I just wanna, for the record, in budget, we are looking at our price and their timeframe, so we'll be addressing, continuing the discussion there too. Okay.
Sure. For White House, I mean, yeah, that's fine. Just, yeah.
Just to be clear, you're doing this, letting it roll over business?
All votes. Okay. Yeah, so we don't need a vote on it. I think we'll just roll over. There's one final motion.
Motion adjourned.
Thank you.